Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 14th of February 2025. So happy Valentine's Day to you if you do that kind of thing. Personally, Lorraine and I prefer to celebrate such things on our wedding anniversary rather than Valentine's Day. I just think Valentine's Day is one of those days where big corporations like to make money out of you, but that might just be me, I don't know. But anyway, I did an interesting job yesterday. I went round to this lady's house and did a few bits and pieces, and I met just one person who seems to be reasonably awake to things, but two of them. One of them was this lady who I think has actually watched this channel in the past. Didn't sound like she still watches it now that much, but she has done in the past, which was interesting. And yeah, we were having a chat about various bits and pieces. One story in particular, which I'll come on to in a minute. But yeah, we're talking about everything from the situation in the Ukraine, Gaza, and Trump in America, and the government in this country, etc., etc. And it was actually nice to kind of speak to someone who is more or less on my wavelength, rather than speaking to people, who aren't on my wavelength at all, basically. So the second person was this guy who was outside. I went out to the van to get some bits and pieces, and he was there working on his car or something, and we were talking about so-called climate change, and he was saying, yeah, it's a load of old cobblers, isn't it? So I think there is a lot of people out there who are awake to all of this kind of stuff, and I think that is why the powers that shouldn't be in the media, mainstream media and all of that, are getting so desperate. And the mainstream media kind of have to mention climate change every 5 seconds, it seems, these days. In fact, I heard a news item on a radio in one of the places I was working in recently, and they were talking about how climate change is affecting crocodiles, I think it was. Apparently they're not mating as much, eating as much, because they're too hot through climate change. And honestly, it's just news stories like that just shows their desperation, I think. Everybody, it seems, out there, at least those who have woken up at least, are, it's just a load of old rubbish, isn't it, the climate change. So that was a very interesting topic of conversation. But one thing that, going back to the lady who I was working for yesterday, what she was saying is, we were talking about the V's and things that have happened to people through that. And she was talking about this lady who she knew, who was a chiropodist working for the NHS, I think it was. And a few years ago, when they're really pushing everything, she didn't want it. She didn't want the thing in the arm, but they said to her, well, you're in healthcare, you have to have it. If you've been watching me for any length of time, what it was like. Even if you haven't been watching me, that was what the score was 4 or 5 years ago, don't you? So apparently that's what this lady was faced with, and so she had to take it. She had the AZ one, and she had a reaction, and sadly she's no longer with us, all because of that thing that goes into people's arms. And how sad is that? It's just a very, very sad story. I think many people know of people, or even know people directly, who were in that situation, who didn't really want it, but they took it because they thought they had to keep their jobs. Maybe they took it for what they thought at the time was the right reasons, but they're sadly either no longer with us, or they've been irreparably harmed. And just when you just think back to the criminality of it all, it just absolutely still disgusts me to this day. And I don't know, I've just got no words for it. And what it should have been from day one, this is what I'd have done. Well, it's not what I'd have done, because I'm not in favour of the things at all anyway, but had I been in favour of it, and had I been concerned about the lurgy, what I would have said if I was in charge is, look, we've got this thing, we don't know how good it's going to be, it has been rushed through, it is using experimental technology, but we do believe that it is going to help you stop getting the lurgy, and it's here if you want it, it's going to be free, so come along, make an appointment and come along and get it. And if you don't want it, that's fine, we totally understand. That is what it should have been. That would have been what would have happened in an adult world, and that's what should have happened, but it didn't. As we all know, that's not what happened. And just forcing people to get one of these things, threatening them with their job, losing their job if they don't get it, as was the case with this poor lady, is just wrong, isn't it? It is just plain wrong. And I don't care what the justification, so-called justification, might have been, how worried or scared people might have been about the lurgy, forcing people to go and have something, a treatment they don't want. No, it wasn't on then, it's not on now, and it never will be on. It is just, as I say, it is just plain wrong. And the thing that angers me the most is the people who are running around kind of shouting from the rooftops, you've got to get this thing, and if you don't get it, you're selfish, you're an idiot, we're going to take your job off you, we're going to exclude you from society, blah, 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 all of that. All of these people are still running around. They haven't faced any kind of accountability yet, any kind of justice yet. I'm just sort of hoping that most of them, all of them, have now realised how wrong they were. At least deep down, they might never admit it, but hopefully deep down they know what they were doing was wrong now. And I hope they've got the strength of character, or the character, to never do that again. Obviously no guarantees, and I doubt they have learned that lesson, but it would be nice if at least some of them have. So it's funny how just the odd conversation you might have here and there kind of reopens old sort of wounds and reignites old feelings. And when you hear a sad story like that, it's going to, isn't it? It is going to do that. It is going to cause all of the old feelings to come back bubbling up again. And when you sort of think this poor lady didn't want the thing, and she lost her life because basically she was forced to have it. An absolute disgrace. Anyway, gonna leave it there, and going from a rather sort of morbid sort of rant to more happy things. If you're going to go out for a Valentine's celebration today or over the weekend, hope you have a good time, and I'll be back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.